Let's talk a little bit about the amplifier AC current requirements with program material. Uh, we get a lot of questions about just, how big does the circuit breaker have to be? How much current do I have to supply to the amplifier? And, if you look at the sine wave ratings of an amplifier, you might think that you would be supplying a large amount of current to the amplifier. But the reality is that with the dynamic range of program material, that the current draw really is fairly low under most circumstances, and short-term peaks can be readily tolerated by most circuit breakers anyway. We actually do rely on the power supply of the amplifier to have internal storage capacity. There is a bank of filter capacitors that will allow the amplifier to ride out short-term peaks and draw from that internal reservoir. With the DPA amplifiers, the 4.3 and 4.5 models, they also have power factor correction, which allows the amplifier to draw power virtually 100% of the time from the incoming AC waveform. What we've set up here is we've configured this DPA 4.3Q in a very high current configuration. Kind of unique to the DPAs, we can actually parallel the amplifiers so that all of the current is available to a single load at the same voltage rail of a single channel. This allows it to run continuous high-powered sine waves that no normal amplifier would be able to tolerate. What we've done is we've changed our display screen to indicate the single channel that we're looking at in terms of the output voltage, output current, and the peak output watts. And then we're also looking at the input AC voltage and AC current to the amplifier. Right now we're in an idle condition. But when we turn it on, this is set for, now it's doing 1600 watts peak, and RMS, that would be 800 watts RMS. So the amplifier is drawing, an 800 watt load continuously on the output, but the input has to take into account the loss of efficiency in the amplifier. Fortunately, Class D is very efficient, and if we were to take this input voltage times the input current, so that's 8.5 times 113, we'll throw that into the calculator real fast. 114 times 8.5. That's only 970 watts in to get 800 watts RMS out, so that's an incredibly high efficiency. Let's mute the sine wave right now, and let's see what kind of rating that we're going to get with pink noise. So we'll apply pink noise to the amplifier, and we'll begin to turn that signal up until we see some sort of clipping or limiting from the amplifier. So we're at minus 20 right now. Let's go to minus 10, see what happens. Okay, still all right. Let's go to minus 5. Oh, we're getting definite clipping there, so let's back it off to minus 7, minus 8, and maybe we'll even go down to minus 9. So very little clipping going on, but we can see that instead of over 8 amps of current draw, that the current draw has now dropped to only a little over 2 amps. So we're drawing about 1/4 of the current with pink noise as we did with a sine wave. And this is not really unexpected. We are still seeing peaks in excess of 2 kilowatts from the amplifier. That's peak, so that would be in excess of 1,000 watts RMS. Now, what we'd like to do is, we've seen that, really driving the amp hard, we can make it draw 2 amps for this single channel driven. Let's cut off the pink noise, and let's switch back to program material. So we'll switch over to a trailer, and we will start playing the trailer and see what happens with the current draw. So we're doing pretty good with the current draw. It's hovering around 1 amp most of the time with an occasional loud peak. We just saw a large peak just now where we're getting a little bit of clipping. But even so, you know, most of the time, unless we're into the heavy overdrive, you know, we're really seeing mostly less than an amp. It really is about 1/10. It's really about, instead of 8.6 amps, we're seeing 0.86 amps. So the program material really has about 10 dB less continuous power draw than playing a sine wave. This is why we have to be careful when we're speccing our AC current draw specifications, that we, you know, worst case, we use a 1/8 figure when we're calculating the requirements for circuit breakers. That 1/8 value is on the QSC data sheets and website, and it really is a good real-world number to use when calculating how big of a circuit breaker you need to provide. Thanks again. That we hope indicates the real-world implications of current draw with program material. Thanks.